All right. No idea what to expect here. I'm using YouTube's platform. Usually I'll use my Streamlabs, but I'm not doing that now because I heard that I think people can join me in this. Maybe I know I've joined highly combustible a few times. So I have no idea what to expect. I don't know if anybody's gonna show up. I don't know. Just thought I'd get my coffee. I had some time. If anybody wanted to chat or anything. Yeah. Sorry, the wife's on the phone. It's a little a little loud. So I haven't had a chance to chat with anybody yet. At all. Well, okay, I did my fucking live stream, but I watch these folks and they do these coffee time things. Looks fun. I don't know. But I thought when I hit 3K, do something like this. This is off the cuff though. But all right. Maybe I'll shoot an invite to the Discord. Get some folks here. Some of my European folks. Oh, where is it? I don't even know if this is live. Is it working? Oh, it is working. Okay. Share to Discord. Where's the Discord? Why isn't it showing up? Copy a link. So good morning, folks. Or no, afternoon, if you're in, the other side of the pond there. Just shooting an invite to my folks, my friends at the React Aside Discord. See if anybody's bored. So it looks like a few people are on. Yes, so I bought tickets for both Nightwish concerts, yesterday's and today's. So tonight it's going to hit here at like 7 p.m. and I'm going to watch it with my 4-year-old while my wife and my daughter go to another they're actually going to a concert not far from me at a festival. But we're going to be here, so we're going to check that out. And then I actually was teaching yesterday, and I realized it was on. So I happened to watch it like on my phone on the way home, which I know isn't ideal. So I missed like half of it. I don't want to talk a whole lot about it here, just because I know they don't want any spoilers and stuff like that. But I mean, yeah, I got my opinions about it. It was neat, but what's up, Thomas? Yeah, and it's funny you say last night. It hit around 2 o'clock, I think, 2 p.m. I was checking it out. No, 1 p.m. I was checking it out on the way home from a class I was teaching, and I didn't get to properly watch it. But hey, Mandy, what's going on? I was going to send an invite to my folks at the Discord. Let's see here. are you? Oh, just chilling, huh? Yeah. You must have nothing going on to. No, these are fun. I know that I've hung with like Tank a few times when he's done this, and it's kind of neat. I figured I got so much stuff to talk about. I feel bad because I feel bad because I feel like I say so much in my videos and I'm so long winded because there's so much I want to talk about and I have to stop myself. So I think a platform like this would be neat to talk about anything. I don't know. Let me vomit the crap that's in my head. You know. No, no whiskey at 2 a.m. or 2 p.m. Oh, do you mean for the concert? Maybe, but it's funny because somebody on one of my later, I did an Angelina Jordan video or something, and happened to be drinking whiskey, and somebody posted, they're like, "You drink all day long, don't you?" And I'm like, "I do my videos at 8 p.m. every night, so I don't know what makes you think, but oh well." I guess the first step is realizing you have a problem, but I'm not there yet. But no, I don't drink all day usually. But but yeah, I missed a lot of it. I like the effects, but I might as well say this when there's not too many people on here. But my opinion about the show is I was just profoundly sad, and I don't know. I know I shared this on the Discord because everybody was saying that was the most amazing 2 hours they've ever had their whole life, and I'm like, who else was sad though? Because it's not meant to be like that. Like Nightwish was not meant to play like that. I feel that in my heart of hearts. It's just, and you can almost see it on Thomas's face. He's just kind of like, he didn't have that same look, um, when he plays his live shows where they just got adrenaline just coursing through their veins, and, I get it. I get it, and I'm glad that they were able to recoup some revenue, I'm sure, and they were able to play their new music, from Human Nature live and stuff. But beyond that, it was just sad, Yeah. And the crowd and people were talking about like the uncomfortable silences between everything. Everybody kind of expects Floor to be like, all right, like in between songs and here's another one, and it was just quiet. And then they played the next song but it was cool. I mean, I would love to have a DVD of it, and own it because it looked beautiful. The sound was incredible. I know that, absolutely amazing, but yeah, no, Thomas, you're right. You're right. I'm not trying to sell it short at all. You know, they kind of did what they had to do, but yeah. Yeah. No, I talk about drinking, Thomas, I talk about drinking whiskey in a lot of my videos. You can see I kind of have a collection. I'm a Scotch guy. Um and I thought that was almost a weird angle for my channel, In the beginning I would pair up certain drinks with certain videos. When I stream video games, I'll do that. Like if I'm playing a pirate game, I'll drink rum, and I have this little goblet that I use. Doesn't look very period piece, but my mom got it for me for my birthday or something one year. But I do little quirky things like that. Yes, Scrog, whiskey. We got plenty. We got oh, I was like, where'd my Glenlivet go? So I got this. You could tell it's getting there. But this is my baby. This is Lagavulin 16 year. And I got this for my 1,000 sub party. And that was a month ago. So you could see, yeah, I shared it with some friends. I got some whiskey neighbors who really love it. So I brought it across the street. They didn't like it. It was too peaty, smoky. They're more bourbon drinkers, But yeah, this is my baby here. And then I've got some Pendleton Canadian whiskey. But yeah, I got some stuff upstairs. You guys all think I'm a wino probably, but no, it's just, occasionally a couple times a week, especially when I'm doing my videos and stuff. Because I don't know if you guys realize this. This is daunting. You doing videos and you when I react to a new song, I get nervous because I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what to say. I don't know what's going to happen. And then stuff just kind of pours out of my head. And then that gets me in trouble because people are like, I can't believe you said that, or how dare, and it's like, stuff comes off the top of your head, and I've learned too, and I know Chase has already talked about, every video pisses somebody off. Like somebody gets triggered in some way and it's insane, so I'm trying to get past, so the alcohol helps. What do we got? Mandy, I thought about a video wall. Like we're watching the green screen, but they should have something that they're watching that's just a big giant screen of just like 80,000 people body surfing and stuff. That would be neat. Maybe pump the sound of a crowd into their ears. That'd be cool. Mandy likes beer. So you like simple beers, or you're simple because you like beer? Like, do you like special beers? Like, I don't know, stouts or... Jameson's pretty good. Jason's pretty good. You know what's weird? This is going to sound bad, but I used to drink craft beer. And some of the beers I drank was like eating a meal, and I was trying to lose some weight. I was trying to lose about 20 pounds. And I learned that hard alcohol, if I still wanted to enjoy a drink occasionally, I didn't have to drink 4 or 5 of them, You come in, buddy. My son is just poked himself in here. We Americans try to be likable. Okay. I always thought we were just a little bit more I don't know, on the cuff than some people. This is my boy Rhys, by the way. We're on live stream. We got 2 million people watching. You want to say hi?
Hi.
Yeah, this is Rhys. He's 4. But and I got a 5-year-old daughter too. She's they're Irish twins, I guess. So, did you eat your cereal?
I ate all of it.
Okay, cool. But I coach his baseball team. We got a game today, in fact, at 1:00. So, a guy named Thomas is saying hi.
Hi.
Oh, and then your brother, Ryan's. Dude, what are you up at 8:00 for? I don't know you ever been up at 8.
Hi, Ryan.
But that's Ryan. Rinse videos. Yeah. So if you guys have seen this Rinse videos here, who says, hey, Rhys, that's my 20-year-old son. He's been on a few videos with me.
He's my brother.
Yeah. So anyways, yeah. And both of my kids wear glasses. Ever since they were little, they've worn glasses. They've my daughter was like 6 months old, actually. Oh yeah, you got that new job. Oh boy, you got to be up. You got to be up at this ungodly hour of 8 a.m. That's cool.
What are you doing?
Nothing. Just talking to people, answering. Everybody's excited about the. We're gonna watch the Nightwish concert tonight.
Yay!
When Mommy leaves, yeah. We're gonna crank it in here. We're gonna put it on the screens and play it really loud, and you get to windmill leak floor. Can you do that? You don't have the hair. I don't have the hair either to do it right.
I and Mommy have the hair.
There's the question. I have actually, A few people occasionally say, hang on, I like your bookcase. I like your bookcase and things like that. I've been waiting for the book question because these are my babies right here. So I do have a degree in classical literature, and so I've always collected books. We're a huge book family. I mean, this guy's got his own bookcase with 100 books. My daughter, same. We have giant bookcases up in our bedroom. My wife and I read like crazy. So I collect old books. So behind me, these are actually the old books. I got some like 150-year-old books. Like this one, I think it's from 1830. It's in German, actually. If I got any, I know I got some German folks, but this is actually, I don't want to be too rough with it, but it's actually, I think it's a gospel book. Yeah, but it's 1853. And I know I'm handling it all wrong for its age, but I've got like the original. I've got like the Iliad is in Greek, and it's like 120 years old. I got stuff like that back here. But this collection is actually my grandfather, who lived in California. He passed away, and my brother went to go settle his estate, and he's like, "Hey, you like books, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I like books." So he goes, "Well, he's got a lot of good books. I'll send them to you." And this was about three years ago, I think. And I got the first box and I freaked out because it was Easton Press. And I don't know if you guys want to look that up. Easton Press are like Cadillac of books, So I lost my mind when I saw it. And so I bought this special bookcase and I put them. So there's like 250 books here. And these are all they're all classics. Like I've got and I got to like do like a card catalog, So I got like all the Arabian Nights tales up there. I've got all the Arthurian legends over there, Canterbury Tales and some, medieval stuff. Then I've got all my horror stuff over here, like, Dracula and Sleepy Hollow and stuff like that. So, yeah. So those are that's the story about the books. So most of these are from my grandfather. I only purchased a few. So like, this is one of my babies here. Here, watch out. Oh, you guys just saw my jammy pants. But this is the Edis. So this is, the Norse mythology. So this is an Easton Press book. So this is officially signed by the illustrator of the book. And there's some pretty cool pictures in there. But yeah, this was like $500. But this is it's got all the original Norse mythology from the younger and the older Edis, written, I think, in Iceland. At least one of them was written in Iceland back in like, I think the 1400s, maybe. Not as old as you would think. Our original source system to Norse mythology. I think it was 1400s. Maybe it's 1100s. I don't know. So there's that. And then I got Paradise Lost. Where's it at? Oh, it's up here. So I got two volumes of Paradise Lost that I bought. Oh, and then the complete collection of Jesco White's on the channel. Then I got the complete works of H.P. Lovecraft. So those are the 3 Easton Press books that I purchased. The rest of these are my grandfather's from when he passed. So that's the story about the books. Oh, and then this, if you guys have ever heard of the Book of Kells, this is a reproduction of it that sits back here. And I have it open to the Cairo page. It's kind of popular. Oh, all bets are off. My daughter's here now. Okay, so this is my daughter. Come here. You want to say hi? So she's 5, 4 and 5. So we got some people watching, and we're just having coffee and talking. That's all. But yeah, as far as retiring on the books, I got a special insurance thing on them and insured them all, because they are worth a lot. But yeah. And, I don't want to be pretentious, with this in the background. This is my office. This is how my office is set up. So when I built my computer, it just kind of, it works out. And then I do the history angle with my channel. And, people are like, wow, he must be smart. Look at all those books, which John Grisham. Yeah. And two, a lot of people just have like Kindles and stuff, so the whole thing of keeping books around, and these two are probably going to, when I pass, are probably going to be like, yeah, I don't want those. You can take them, hopefully they're not like that, but because you got to store the damn things and you got to move them and, but to me, there's nothing better than holding a book. You know what I mean? Okay. All right, Jesco. Thanks for hopping on. You're going to go work in the barn, huh? Yeah. Well, thanks for that, Thomas. Yeah. I'll tell you what, too, especially doing Sabaton videos, that history buff angle has, there's always going to be trolls, right? I mean, that's the one thing. If you ever decide to start up a YouTube channel, there's always going to be trolls. And, right away they think, oh, everything there is to know about history. And I even had a person say, I call BS when you say you never heard of Angelina Jordan. You're a historian. How could you not have known that she covered Bohemian Rhapsody? I'm like, what the hell does that have to do with history? Yeah, I missed that class in college, all about, obscure Norwegian singers. Like, people get weird, but then like when I cover Sabaton, people right away start to be like, well, I'm not a big bad history buff like you, but I know this, and and it's like you're a Sabaton fan. You're already like leagues ahead of everybody else with knowing your history, especially Americans. I mean, we're terrible with history, so I'm like a god over here. But then put me in Europe, and you know what I mean. So. All right, Jesco, I will see you on the next one, buddy. There's going to be more Angelina Jordan coming. I'm going to do America's Got Talent next. But, yeah. Ronnie. Okay, so I have been looking for those glasses. I actually went on Amazon and found a few. And they weren't bad. So I think I'm definitely going to get those because, yes, these... According to Ronnie, these don't do the trick. I'm not able to enjoy scotch properly with that. So, okay, guys. All right, why don't you go? That was my chair. That wasn't me. I can't recreate the sound, of course. Oh, well, it wasn't me. So. All right, say goodbye.
Bye.
Go play, all right?
Let's go play the Star Wars Lego game.
Yeah, go. Star Wars Lego. Ryan remembers that. Then my older son remembers that one. So Mandy, thank you for that. Okay, so Mandy liked my reaction to Greatest Show on Earth. That was weird because I know that song very well, and that was my very first video, like my very first one. So I like look back at it. I still cringe because it's. I'm so long-winded, and I'm still trying to not be as long-winded in my videos. I realize I could have a lot more subs right now if I just kind of shut my mouth. And, but that's not me. You know what I mean? That's not me at all. Hang on one second. And then the video and audio is just terrible in it, because like as I started this, it's just kind of, you may have noticed if you look at my earlier videos and you come through these, you'll see improvements with my camera, my audio, everything kind of dialed in. So, excuse me, but well, I'm glad I taught you a lot. Mandy, you're leaving? But yeah, that's good that I tell you. Honestly, everything I said in that video, I learned from Richard Dawkins. So when I got into the Greatest Show on Earth, Richard Dawkins, check that out. So I read that book. And then my favorite personally, though, is The Selfish Gene. It's really cool. It's actually, he's got it down to a science and actually down to mathematics of how we are nice to each other. Like and why we're nice to each other and how that evolved in us. It's kind of, you know, nihilistic to think about it that way. But yeah, it's so that's a good one. And then if you were really, really interested in like, because like me, I'm like, okay, that's great. I get evolution, but like, how did it start? Right. And in my opinion, like I said, that's where the beginning 4.6 and greatest show on earth, like how did life start? Like, okay, great. You've got inanimate stuff, you've got, you know, not non-organic, but you've got like um I can't think, but like molecules and things. How did that turn into life and DNA? So if you're interested in that, the Blind Watchmaker is really good because he talks about, you know, just rolling the dice and chance and things lining, and how did DNA finally line up to where it is. They think that some kind of scaffold was built around it, and then that went away. And I mean, it's really interesting. So if that's the kind of stuff you like, definitely check it out. And I thought I read one more of his, but no, brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. And if you like audiobooks, which is honestly, I say read, that's how I experienced it. Richard Dawkins actually narrates his books on Audible. So in my opinion, I've listened to tons of audiobooks. He's the best narrator I've ever heard. His voice, and you've already heard his voice if you're a Nightwish fan, absolutely incredible. And I think he does it with his wife. His wife does the other version, or they kind of like go between chapters. Brilliant. Oh, my camera went up. My camera goes off every 30 minutes. So, all right. So, Mandy, I would start with the greatest show on earth, just because it's literally like a generalization of everything, of all things evolution. I want to say it was maybe his first book. I'm not sure. So it's a good intro. And then everything else kind of breaks it down. So like in Greatest Show on Earth, what he does is he'll do the whole thing. And at the very end, he'll talk about, oh God, I can't think of the word. Altruism. He'll talk about altruism, about like, okay, we've got evolution. Now we got to be nice to each other. And how does that look? Well, that's Selfish Gene. He talks a lot about that. And then, like I said, Blind Watchmaker, he talks a lot about that. So I would start with Greatest Show on Earth because it covers the full spectrum of his studies, you know. Ronnie, yeah. So no, Mandy, I didn't. And honestly, you know, I'm a Catholic, and I appreciate. I'm gonna watch my sub count drop now. No, I'm just kidding. But you know, I appreciate Dawkins' approach as far as like atheism and stuff. And I definitely feel his frustration when he's trying to teach evolution, and you've got some Christians and some other religious folks who are like, you know, who are like, no, that didn't happen. He's like, but here's the science. And like, well, that doesn't matter. I could totally, and you know, and he gets, of course, skewered by religious people every day of his life. So I get that. I totally get it, you know, but I don't really have a desire to read a book that solely goes out to just discredit God, you know, because in my opinion, and Dawkins will even say this, in my opinion, I think that religion and science can coexist. I really do. I think that on either side of the fence, people like to like kind of plant their stake in the ground and say, you know, I'm not moving from here. I think you can meet in the middle, and I think one could explain the other, and so on. I really do. But, you know, there's something to be said for like the God of gaps, where we have a tendency of like, anytime we don't understand something, it's God. Like automatically it's God. And I think that's, you know, that might be a little bit immature. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just, you just don't get it yet, right? But I think there's a way to reconcile the two. I really do. Yeah. Yeah. No, I know. And when my kids go to Catholic school, we, you know, and I definitely appreciate it and understand the value in it, you know. So I don't want to go down that road yet. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what he talks about is there were actually these proto replicators, or like almost like an ancestor of DNA. And really all you need to be a proto replicator is just, you have to be able to replicate somehow, like self replicate. And once that happens, natural selection just kind of like naturally falls into place. What's up? Hang on one second. Oh, good. You're all still here. Cool. No, Lou. They're playing Lego Star Wars, and they just needed me to help load it up a little bit. Now, they're pretty good at going to the bathroom by themselves, luckily. My son still has to wipe my butt, you know. Let me close this door real quick. But yeah, so it's all super interesting. So Ronnie, you were asking about the Nightwish virtual. Yeah, so I bought tickets for both, and I taught a class yesterday, and on my way home, I realized, I'm like, it's 2:00. The concert had already been going on for an hour. So I put it on my phone and literally like watched it on my ride home. So you still have to wipe your 18-year-old son's butt. I probably shouldn't laugh. Maybe it was a reason, but yeah, no, I get it. But yeah, so on my way home, I'm listening to it and I'm kind of trying to watch it a little bit without getting in a car accident. And yeah, I mean, it sounded amazing. I know that much. Like, it sounded incredible. But you know, and it looked incredible too. But I don't want to give too much away for people who haven't seen it, maybe. But so what were your thoughts, Ronnie? I mean, did you really enjoy it? Like, I mean, that's kind of a dumb question, but because I have something to say about it, really. Hey, do you mind shutting the door a tiny bit? Okay. Wife's messing with me. Yeah, so Ronnie, here's, if you're still there, I think you're still there. Oh, somebody just left. I don't know. But so Ronnie, like, I just thought it was sad. You know what I mean? Like, it was cool what they were doing, and I'm glad that they were able to, like, you know, obviously bands are struggling now, and it's good that they were able to get some well-deserved revenue, you know, because usually what they're used to is, you know, they do an album and then they go on tour and then they get their ticket. You know, you think about it, their lives are kind of budgeted for that, right? For that kind of income, and then it's gone. Gotta be horrible. But so I'm glad they were able to do that. But I don't think Nightwish was designed to perform like that. You know what I mean? Just like I made the comment before, like, I don't think they were built for the studio. They are built for an audience of, 80,000 people, you know, with fire shooting everywhere. I mean, that's, in my opinion, that's Nightwish. And that's what Thomas really, and all of them really yearn for and enjoy. And to watch them do that with a green screen and all that, it's just, for me, it was sad. You know, I felt bad, but it was still neat. And we're going to watch it today. My son and I, my wife and daughter have to go. They're actually going to a concert too, like at a festival nearby. But we're going to stay here. We're going to watch that. And my son's excited. He's 4. Hey, Ryan, if you're still on, you can come over and watch it. Oh my God, dude. Oh, don't get me started on Marco. Man. Yeah. I will admit, I'm not going to say who the bassist was, but the bass tone was incredible. Like, I really enjoyed the bass lines. I could hear them better than usual. But yeah, Marco's vocals and being able to mix with Floor, It's going to be hard to find somebody to do that. Yeah. Yeah, Thomas. And it was odd. And a lot of people said this in the Discord too. It was odd that there was so much silence in between every song. Like there was no banter. Floor wasn't like, okay, everybody, here's another one and sing along. Like, even like with Ghost Love's score, who was expecting Floor to be like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And there was none of that. It was just kind of like, like a studio session. It felt like a studio session, you know. So I mean, I'm excited to watch it again tonight. It was neat seeing some of the Human Nature songs played live, because we haven't seen that yet. Yeah, story time for sure. Amazing bass lines. I love that in the beginning, that do 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 do, and you can hear that like just kind of punch through all the other music. It's really good. Yeah, Troy did his best. I thought you were leaving, Mandy. I thought you said bye. Maybe you're just telling my kids bye. Oh, you were telling Jesco bye. Okay. My European folks, do you guys know who Jesco White is? This is a cool story. Now, I'm not going to assume that you guys watch all my videos. I mean, I know I don't when I watch a reactor. I only watch the stuff I'm interested in. But Jesco White is actually like an American legend. He's oh no, Jesco, it's Jesco. Not, and it's funny, in my subtitles it always says Jessica, but Jesco White. If you scroll up, he's on here, Jesco White, the dancing outlaw. He's the one that jumped on for a second. But no, he's like an American legend. Like anybody who's into country music knows this guy. And I mean, they've done movies about him. They've done yeah, it sucks. This is not a reaction video. I can't like edit my pauses. So I'm like, but they've done documentaries. People have written songs about him. But he's like a tap dancing legend, like a jig tap dancing legend. And he's performed with big time artists on stage where he's up there dancing and they're playing. He's got like a cult following. And he just jumped on my channel one day and he sent me a very generous donation. And he's like, hey, I want you to check this out. So I did a couple of songs for him. But we become good friends, and it's just a neat story. And when I told my dad, who's he's into country music, I mean, he's in his 70s and he's really into it. And yeah, it's kind of neat because now he's like one of my subs and we chat all the time. So that's my Jesco White story. Ooh, now we're getting some interesting questions by Whisper. So Whisper, I think, well, it depends on what you're talking about with history. I think there's two things that happen with history. Like human nature is always going to kind of be this. On one hand, we're not as different as we think we are from like past versions of ourselves. I think that, like, for example, I'm just going to throw something out there, like Nazi Germany, right? I know, well, like all of a sudden everybody, but like we think that cannot repeat itself because we're smarter today. But are we? You know what I mean? Like, given the right conditions, if people were starving, if people were this and this, you line things up. But at the same time, what happens is, and this goes back to Richard Dawkins a little bit, there's that concept of the meme, right? Which is like the smallest bit of information that can be passed. So these memes are out there and it's information, right? And it gets in our brains and it either takes hold or it doesn't, right? So over time, these memes, they kind of generate our culture. And so we're definitely in a place today where we weren't, even 200 years ago or even 50 years ago, right? So that evolves. But then here we are still in the middle of all of it, still with our same tendencies and, stuff like that. So, I mean, that's a good question, about that. But that's just it about history. Like one of my favorite lines. I don't know if you've ever heard this as far as repeating history. You might have heard this. And forgive me for saying men, but this is how it goes. So strong men create good times. Good times create weak men. Weak men create bad times. Bad times create good men. Right? So that is, in my opinion, the cycle. And you can replace man with people. I don't know, whatever. But that's the cycle. And you could see that throughout all of history. Whenever we had a rough patch, like, the Great Depression or World War I and II, that whole area, some really strong things came out of that in all around the world, right? We developed a lot of amazing things, and then that generation dies off. And then these people live off of the amazing things that these people have kind of set up for them. But then we become complacent. And look at us today. Like, we are so bored. We find things to fight about. We find things to be triggered by. We find things to bitch about, right? We're never happy. And so eventually that's going to cause things to just crumble. And then someone else is going to pick up those pieces. And it'll just happen over and over again, But oh, Thomas, no, he's not a singer. He's just a tap dancer. That's all. But he's cool. And like I said, they've made movies about him. Have you ever heard of the group Jackass? It was them that actually made one of the movies about him. He's just one of them goofy guys that have kind of turned into a legend a little bit. Wow, boy, Whisper, you're digging deep. Regimes, rebellion. Hey, Khan. It's cool. I recognize a lot of these names. I think I've recognized Khan on a bunch of my videos. What's up, man? Regimes, rebellion, revolution, status quo, and back to instability. Yes. Yep. Fatty. What's up, Leroy? Are you like rolling a fatty, or what are we doing here? Are we trolling? What are we doing, Leroy? Fatty big. I mean, I know I could cut back a little bit on I get it, but yeah. N-I. All right, Leroy, let's see. What's up, man? What are we doing here? See, it's kind of like, this is kind of like what I'm talking about, right? Back to your question, we've got people who, are so used to probably sitting in their basement all day, bitching about Wi-Fi, like this Leroy here, probably. And, so they have nothing better to do than to get on like channels where we're having good conversation and be a total asshole. So, yeah. Yeah, he's trolling. Let me see. We'll just fucking get rid of this guy. There we go. That was easy. But that's why you need moderators, because of pricks like that, right? Anyways, so yeah, I mean, where are we at? But yeah, Whisper, that's kind of like what I was talking about, as far as like history repeating itself. Yeah, I definitely think, and you could see this again, like, so you had the 30s and 40s, which were rough for a lot of people. You had to go to, it was like a couple decades of war, you had the Great Depression, you got all that other stuff, right? And out of that came a lot of ideals and standards and things that were just top notch. That's why people say, oh, the last great generation, and that pisses some people off, but whatever. Then, you move into the 50s. So you had a really kind of a time of, I don't want to say excess, but just comfortability. I mean, everybody was able to kind of own a home, and I know you could say, well, there were some people that did. I get it. I get it, whatever. But generally, and then you move into the 60s, and those kids, what did we see? We saw, hippie revolution and oh my gosh, the world is horrible and this and that. So these were people kind of almost resting on the laurels of these people. And then the 80s came around, and there was kind of another conservative boom that happened, and the economy, And then you went into the 90s and everybody got depressed, right? With like grunge music and, and now we're kind of back to that. Like, yeah, we're talking about history. Some good questions. Whisper's really knocking out of the park here, and I'm probably digging myself a hole for giving my opinions, but, um, yeah, yeah, Thomas, no, seriously, look into it. I mean, even look at Rome, right? I mean, why was Rome so strong? Because they were always conquering, 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 and then they would take that and bring it into themselves, whatever they would get. And they became very rich and powerful that way. Well, once they got to a point where they kind of like stopped doing that, and I'm not saying conquering is good, but like you stop doing that, you get bored, right? And then things started to kind of fall apart, and then like there was that whole famous thing about bread and circuses. Just give people bread and circus. Just feed them, give them entertainment, and they'll be happy and they'll shut up, right? That's kind of where we are now, So I don't know. But also think about it this way, Thomas. Like when we have nobody to fight against, right? Where there's no wars going on, we find shit to fight about. Like we do. I mean, I don't know if you could deny that. We just find shit. I don't think we're happy with peace. Like we just find stupid shit to bicker about, So it's something that hopefully one day as humans will get past that. But, and that's why a lot of these countries just kind of eat themselves from the inside out, like Rome, like, I don't know. Oh my gosh. Whisper. Here's what we need to do, Whisper. I don't know where you live, but we need to get it. We need to get a case of beer, maybe not a case, maybe a 6-pack, and just talk about this stuff because I like it. You conquered your freedom by shouting, "I don't cut my hair anymore." Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. I get it. Yeah, I don't want to dig too much deeper into that, but I like your comment about conservatism. So liberal and conservatism is literally you're talking about should things change or should they stay the same? And I think that the liberal side of the fence is kind of made up of two kinds of people. You've got the people who have a bad lot in life, and yeah, things need to change. But then you've also got people who every day they wake up and they're like, who can I piss off today? So I call those the button pushers. Those are people who always have to push something, an agenda. If there's an agenda out there, they'll get behind it just because it pisses people off and they can push something. And in my opinion, it's a new religion. It's standing there pointing at people saying, we got all the answers, you don't, And then conservatism is just kind of like, hey, things aren't broken. Don't fuck with it. So it just depends on what side of the fence you're on. And people argue that conservatives are just people who have it good in life and, for a lot of different reasons, be it race, be it whatever. So yeah, we're more polarized than ever. I truly believe that. Yeah. Yeah, Thomas, you're right. I mean, but having said that, those things that are occupying your time, like what are they? You know what I mean? Um, I would argue, like if you look at the song Noise by Nightwish, I would argue that we have too much information coming at us and we kind of get to pick and choose what that information is. So, you just gotta be careful with that. I mean, hey, Spidey. No, when you're swinging through downtown, yeah. Hey, Skipper. Hey, Skipper, really quick. Oh, I did message you. Okay, yeah. So I did hypa, but it was blocked. I think I told you that. I don't know why. I've had 2 blocked videos back to back. So in 48 hours, hopefully the block will free up and then it'll be good. But anyways, go to your gardening, man. That's cool. Oh gosh, now we're talking about socialism and communism. Oh god. But I want to. So Whisper, your question. I don't mean to do a shameless plug here. I actually wrote a book about your very question, about the shaky foundations of America, and liberty is a tricky thing because it requires a balance, right, between liberty and authority. And it gets to the point where liberty can go so far to where now you're kind of like you lose your sense of unity. And I mean, there's a lot to it. There's a lot to it. And the Jeffersonian, in my opinion, the Jeffersonian uh, theory of liberty is doomed to fail. Like it's shaky. And you almost have to read again. I wrote a book. It's actually a big giant poem that I published. It's like 30 pages long. And during Fourth of July, I'm going to plug the hell out of it because it's appropriate for Fourth of July. So keep an eye on that. But I definitely kind of challenge that very question in that book. Yeah, polarization's horrible. It's horrible. And so Thomas, you're talking about polarization. How much of that is because of like social media? Like people get on there and they're so badass and they don't give an inch when kind of like planting their flag in the sand and kind of like arguing their point. But those very people I've met in public, I run into them or whatever, and you start talking about the same things. And then you start to compromise. You start to, well, you got a good point. You this and that. But you never, how many times have you ever heard somebody on Facebook say, you know what? That's a good point. I'll think about that. Let me look at it. No, they're too busy just, but in person, when you're talking to a person, you've got an opportunity to kind of like meet in the middle and compromise and things. So I think that that's really killing us. Yeah. Too many religions. But again, I would agree. I would argue religions are a lot of things. Religions could be veganism. Religions couldn't be, liberalism or conservatism or what. Anybody who gets to sit there on their high horse and look at everybody else and say, you know what, I'm enlightened, you're not. I'm smart, you're dumb, and here's why. It's a religion. I mean. And Haskell or Oscar, too many religions. Yeah. And again, I would social media, like you could worship whatever you want and then go to Facebook and find a legion of people who believe that same thing. And now in your brain, everybody thinks that way, because that's who you talk to all day. I mean, where's my book found? It is here. Maybe I'll throw a link in my thingy here to my book. But you can get it on Barnes & Noble, Amazon. If you Google Flight of a Nation, you'll find it. And then you'll learn my real name. I've been trying to keep that a secret. Nobody knows my real name until now. But I don't care. Whatever. It's kind of like here, let me just find it real quick and I'll throw a link up there. Light of a Nation, Dream Vision of a Founding Father. There it is. Boom, and there you go. There's my book. So what my book is, out of everything I've studied, I would say that Chaucer is probably my authority. Like I know a lot about Chaucer. I know a lot about his works. And what I did was I wrote a Chaucerian style dream vision, a medieval dream vision, but through the eyes of Thomas Jefferson. It's like he's writing the Declaration of Independence. He falls asleep and wakes up on the back of a giant eagle. And then the rest of the story is just he kind of watches the birth, the life, and the death of America. And yeah, so it's kind of trippy, but people who have read it are, they love it. And I actually have presented it at a bunch of different research conferences in different colleges and stuff. And I'm in the process of turning it into an audiobook. There's a gentleman, I think he's Welsh. I think he's going to lay down a track for me. And then I got a guy working on illustrations, but I wrote it like three years ago. So yeah. But you don't have to, don't feel like you got to buy it unless you want to. The Kindle version's terrible because it's a poem. So it's supposed to be formatted a certain way. So the book is best, I think. But I'm going to be actually reading it on 4th of July. I'll do a video where I put together some nice stuff with it, like a video and actually read it. So you can check it out with that. You don't have to buy it. I mean, I won't argue if you want to buy it. What's up? Oh, we'll go get the other. There should be another controller that's up there. So, hey, can you shut the door a little bit? Sorry, I should probably mute that when I do that. All right. She got it. All right. Oh, so what else? What else? I mean, I guess I could keep, if you guys want, I could keep talking about that whole fragility of America. And I guess we could talk about it with the COVID thing. So in a few of my videos, I've mentioned what I really do. I'm a hospital administrator, and I was asked to run the vaccination clinic at my hospital. So that's one of the jobs I currently do now. And I've been dealing with COVID since day one. From an administrative standpoint, from a research standpoint, I've done talks at summits and things like that. I was a keynote speaker at one. I mean, I know a lot about COVID, a ton. I teach. I'm also an educator, so I teach it. So I know a ton, and yeah, it's a scary thing, and it sucks, and I'm a little bit afraid for what it might do to us down the road, right? Like, as sometimes viruses do weird things decades later, like chicken pox turns into shingles. HIV will just wipe out your immune system like decade later or two. We don't know what COVID's going to do. So that's the scariest part to me. But the reason you see a lot of pushback in America is just we get a little bit weirded out when the government tells us, hey, you've got to shut your business down for an undetermined amount of time. And that's it. It doesn't sit well with Americans, a lot of them, at least conservative Americans, they're just like, wait a minute. And a lot of people think it's because Trump told you. Well, no, it's not. It's people weren't listening to Trump, for our medical advice. But it's just people had the same thought process about, wait a minute, this is getting scary. Like, you're telling us we have to do this. I mean, we're okay if you tell us we should do this, but like, you have to do it. And that's when it got a little weird. So yeah, I mean, not that fully explains it. It's complicated, but shutting down your businesses, forcing you to do certain things, forcing you to stay in your homes, Sorry, I'm trying to read this. You said World War II couldn't complete itself, or couldn't. No, I said it could. Like, here's my opinion. Okay. And again, if you don't like this or whatever, I apologize. But here's my opinion. We tend to think, wow, the whole Nazi thing, the people that kind of bought into that, the people that cooperated with it, and they did for many, many reasons. Not everybody who obviously, okay, first of all, everybody who was German at the time fighting in the German army was not inherently evil. I've had family who fought in the Confederate Army, right, during the Civil War. They weren't inherently evil people. It was just kind of like what was going on at the time. And you either were in or you weren't, and it just kind of like, people were living their lives. The German army, I mean, not everybody was evil. And even like the people in the Nazi party, I mean, you've got different, things. But there was a lot that led up to that, right? There was the Great Depression, and then you've got, people were starving. World War I put Germany in a really bad place because they were the villains of the world. People even Germans in America were threatened. Their lives were in danger. Some of them changed their names so they didn't sound so German, gave up their German traditions and stuff just so they could fit in better and not get the shit kicked out of them. So for a couple decades of being like the world's, villains by everybody. And then you got somebody who jumps in and says, you know what, I'm going to fix it all. I'm going to put us all on the top of the food chain again and blah, blah, blah. People were just like, yeah, I know that's oversimplifying it, but like today that could happen again. If we are enjoying, just a lot of things in life, we got Wi-Fi, we got this, we got, even though you think your life is shitty, it's compared to the Great Depression. Unless you've got it really bad, then I feel for you, but we got some pretty good comforts nowadays. And, for the most part, there's always people on the fringe. I get it. But, imagine if tomorrow it was all gone, right? Infrastructure gone, food gone. You had to figure out how to get it, blah, 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 right? And somebody jumped up and said, you know what? I'm going to get you back to where we were before, but here's what you got to do. I think people would, do some unspeakable things just to get, their lives back, get some comfort back, things like that. So please, I am not, saying Nazi Germany I'm not defending it. I'm not any of that, but I'm just saying that's how history kind of, and when we rely too much on these comforts, like if they're all of a sudden gone, what would you do to get them back? And it's not everybody. I get it. I totally get it. It's just, we are what we are. That's it. Okay. Let me see. I was raised in religion. Don't want to be just there. So you try to shop around religions and boom, there you go. Yep. Everybody's got the right answer, right? Yeah. Mandy, I think you understand what I'm talking about. Like, I had a buddy of mine who he knows a lot more about history than I do. And he was basically saying that Woodrow Wilson was kind of like responsible for the rise of Nazi Germany, just because, they were so brutal in the Verdun. I can't think. The Treaty of Verdun, right? And it just annihilated the Germans, and so when you do that to somebody, something's going to rise out of those ashes that isn't pretty, so I don't know. I think today we definitely like to generalize things. We like to say, this is evil. This is good. This is, when in actuality, it's just more complicated, history is very fluid and, can I say Adolf was far right? Oh gosh, I don't know. That's tricky. What I find interesting and sad is that the left calls conservatives Nazis, and then the right calls liberals Nazis. Yeah. And the reason, you have people calling Trump a Nazi, right? I think some of the things we got to be careful of, censoring information, both sides are responsible for that, right? Censoring information, not letting us find our own way, telling us what we need to do and not do, and in my opinion, like this whole COVID thing was a good litmus test. You got people forcing us to do certain things and, and it's all in the name of public safety, public health, right? but where's that line at? I don't know. I'm probably going to get off here and I'm going to have like half the subs I had before. But yeah, these are tricky things, man, to talk about. They really are. I mean, without digging too much of a hole. But yeah, and then people look at, I mean, you see my hat, Second Amendment. This is about the right to bear arms. And, people think automatically, what was one of the first things Hitler did was disarm the public. It's easier to control people that way. So, when you're starting to figure out which side is more like the Nazis, I mean, those are some of the things to look out for. Trying to make, say this is what your opinion is, right? Stuff like that. Yeah, Ronnie, that's a great point. When everything is black and white, and everybody's got to be put into boxes, right? It's not okay to just say, hey, we're all people. No. Everybody, this is certain kinds of people and we have to treat them accordingly. And that could get, comparing COVID to World War II. Yeah. I mean, yeah. So you're agnostic, I think, Oscar. Isn't that the word? Like, you believe in God, but, Yeah. Yeah, Jerry, the moment we realized we could hold control over another person, that's when it all started, right? All right, guys. Well, we've been doing this about an hour, and I've dug a big hole here. So, so it was cool talking to you guys. We got a few things going on. I got a baseball game. I got to coach my son's baseball game later. Wife's going to a concert. We get to check out the Nightwish concert tonight. So, yeah. All right, guys. So great discussion. Yeah, if you want to check the book out, it's up in the link. You want to check that out, or just look for it in a month or two. I'll start plugging the hell out of it. But you guys have a great day, a great Saturday. It's nice and sunny here. It's kind of chilly. I'm by Chicago, by the way. So, I need to explain myself. All right, I'll bite. What's up? Wait. We got to see where this is going. The FBI is on here. Let me know what's up. What do I got to explain myself for? Oh my God, I'm on pins and needles here. Oh, Jesus. This is like one of those phone calls I get, from the scam folks. They're like, we've got, what is that? Your social security number. We found some strange activity in a car in Texas had a body in it or something. And yeah. Okay. All right. You guys take care and have a great day.